If there is one thing I've learned from covering sports games over the past year, it's this. There is no perfect sports game. Every title has strengths, but also some major flaws. And whether it works for you really depends on what you're looking for. See, some players want a deep career mode. Others just want to hit online and compete. Some of you care about graphics and atmosphere. Others want rock-solid gameplay and realistic physics. And that's what makes tennis games so tricky. There are more of them than you actually might expect, but each one of them feels like it was built for a specific type of player. You know what else is specific? Juggling all the patch notes, mod instructions, and updating PDFs. Recently, I've been using SwiftDo PDF to keep it all neat and accessible. It's lightweight, fast and convenient, so it doesn't slow me down. If you want to check it out, the link is in the video description. Big thanks to SwiftDo for sponsoring this video. But back to tennis games, in this video I'm gonna help you figure out which tennis game actually suits you. I'll break down the pros and cons quickly and give you a clear idea of who each game is for. And yes, I'll also tell you which one I personally stick with these days. But before we get into the main part of the video, I want to know what's your favorite tennis game and why. Let me know in the comment section. Alright, let's start with the big one, Topspin 2K25. It's probably the most well-known tennis game out right now. And if you've played Topspin 4, this will feel very familiar. It basically plays like a slightly modernized version of it, for better or worse. The animations here are smooth, especially when it comes to player movement. And honestly, if you want to play online without messing around, this is the easiest and best game to jump into. There's a built-in matchmaking, a decent online population, well, at least on Steam, and it just works. No Discord servers, no external tour signups, you just plug in and play. But here's the catch. The single-player career mode is a joke. Super shallow, barely functional, the player roster is tiny, just 26 real-life pros, and while the stadiums look decent, the actual player models look like something from a late PlayStation 3 game. Shooting animations are pretty limited too, and the gameplay lacks that satisfying sense of control and risk-reward. Basically, after a few hours, it starts to feel flat. So, who is this for? If you're looking for a tennis game you can just boot up and play a few online matches without thinking too much, or maybe you're just nostalgic for Topspin 4, this one might do the job. But if you're after a realistic gameplay experience, something with real depth, or a proper single-player mode, you will probably bounce off this real hard. Next we got Tennis Elbow 4, which is the total opposite of Topspin. Not flashy or mainstream, but probably the deepest tennis game out there. Made by a single dev, it shows in the graphics and menus, which feel stuck in 2008. At first you might wonder like what the hell you just installed, but once you get past that initial feeling, the gameplay is incredible. It's skill-based, physics-driven, and really feels like tennis. Winners are earned, misses happen, and that risk-reward balance is just spot on. So if you love grinding and improving in sports game, you're gonna love it. The career mode is easily the best in any tennis game, maybe in any sports game actually. You can play through decades of tennis history with real players and tons of content boosted by mods. Mods here are actually huge, with thousands of players, courts and tournaments available, and they are also really easy to install on both PC and consoles. Online multiplayer here is really solid, with a loyal community and regular tournaments, but unfortunately there's no matchmaking, so you have to find matches in lobbies. Still, once connected, the netcode and the gameplay works extremely well. Downsides? Well, the learning curve is steep, no doubt about it. Controls feel also weird at first, and the visuals aren't great. The first impression can be rough, so you really have to stick with it to enjoy the game. And if you decide to buy this game, I have few video guides for beginners for Tennis Level 4, so make sure to check them out. So who is this game for? If you want the deepest gameplay and career mode and don't mind some rough edges or a learning curve, this is your game. But if you want polished graphics and easy pick up and play type of tennis game, this one might scare you off before it clicks. Alright, now let's talk about Tiebreak. This one's weird. It's the most visually impressive tennis game out right now. The graphics here are actually really damn good. Player models look lifelike, and there is a huge licensed roster with over 120 ATP and WTA players. Gear, outfits, accessories, it's all really well recreated for 2024 season. On the surface, it looks like the ultimate tennis game. But there is always a but with tennis games, unfortunately. The moment you actually play Tiebreak, well, things fall apart. Gameplay-wise, Tiebreak just doesn't deliver. It's way too simplistic. Rallies feel flat, winners don't feel satisfying, and the physics, man, they are just bad. Misses feel scripted, like the game decided before you even hit the ball whether you would mess up or not. Serving is probably the worst in whole genre, and the net play is clunky as hell. The career mode generally exists, sure, but it's kinda still half finished, even year after the release. Like, yeah, it's better than Topspin 2K25's career mode, but that's a very low bar. Online multiplayer is rough too. Finding matches through matchmaking is already tough due to the low player base, and if you do manage to get into a match, you're often dealing with lag and teleporting. It's just not a fun online experience. That said, Tiebreak might actually appeal to some people. So who is this for? If you're a casual or non-gamer who just wants something pretty to look at and doesn't care too much about how the game actually plays, Tiebreak could work for you. It's kind of like a tennis game made for people who don't really play tennis games, if that makes any sense. So if you're happy to mess around in a few exhibition matches, admire the visuals, and you're not looking for a challenge or realism, fair enough, Tiebreak might be just for you. But if you care about physics, gameplay depth, realism, or even just a functional online or career mode, yeah, this one's not for you. Alright, next up, AO Tennis 2, an older title from the same developers as Tiebreak. It shares some of the same weaknesses, but with less polish. Career mode here is a little more fleshed out than Tiebreak's. It's quite good actually, there are a lot of features, but it's still not as good as Tennis Level 4. Online multiplayer used to be rough in this game, and now it's basically dead. Finding matches is nearly impossible, so don't buy the game if you want competitive play. Gameplay-wise, the physics are pretty bad, and the AI behaves more like it's A for artificial, not I for intelligence. But there's a silver lining. Thanks to the precision aiming feature, you get a bit more excitement in shot making than in Tiebreak. Graphically, it's a step down from Tiebreak, noticeably worse game in terms of visuals. So the main reason to consider AO Tennis 2 is basically price. It's often on sale for as low as $5. So if you want a cheap tennis fix for a few hours, this might do the trick. Just make sure you don't expect anything polished or deep. Alright, last but definitely not least, Full Ace Tennis Simulator. This one's all about the gameplay. If you're into realistic sports sims, this is a solid choice. Hitting winners in this game feels incredibly satisfying. Honestly, it might even beat Tennis Level 4 on that front. AI is smart, especially on higher difficulties, and serving in this game is easily my favorite in any tennis title. I haven't played it in the competitive scene here, but word from top players is that Full Ace nails the balance, and the feel is better than in any other tennis game. Online multiplayer is similar to Tennis Level 4 actually. No matchmaking, just lobbies, and the player base here is actually pretty small. Plus, it's only on PC, which limits how many people you can actually find to play against. Now for the graphics, well, this is the worst looking game on this list. It's made by a single developer, so it's rough around the edges visually. The roster and mods also don't match up to Tennis Elbow 4. So the focus here is clearly on the on-court experience, which also means that the career mode is rather simple and minimal. So if you want a deep, realistic tennis game with gameplay that rewards skill, Full Ace deserves a look. Just don't expect a flashy presentation or game rich with content. So, if you ask me, my favorite tennis game is Tennis Elbow 4, and it's the best all-around pick if you can get past the dated graphics. It's the one I recommend if you want really deep gameplay, tons of content, a great single-player career, and solid competitive multiplayer. The initial jankiness is definitely worth pushing through. And for those of you who want the most satisfying, deep, but still a bit more gamey gameplay, I would recommend Full Ace. The on-court experience is top-notch, but everything outside the gameplay feels subpar in this game. Then we have Topspin, which is great for people who want easy game, both in terms of getting into matches and being able to actually compete. But it's mostly a dead game now, with little to no updates and a disappointing single-player mode. Then we have Tiebreak, which looks really good, but the actual gameplay is pretty lackluster despite its continuous updates. Like, yeah, sure, it's improved since the launch thanks to those updates, but I think it's still far from being a good tennis game. If you want something that's mostly about the looks and casual play, I think it actually might please you, especially when you get it on a good discount. Finally, AO Tennis 2 is the worst game on this list, but also the cheapest one. It's on sale most of the time, so if you just want a cheap tennis game for a few hours, it might do the trick. Just make sure to have low expectations. Alright, so that's my quick guide to finding the best tennis game right now. Hopefully it helps you figure out which one fits your style. There are some more tennis games available on the market, but barely anyone plays them, so I focus on the ones that are mainly mentioned when it comes to this type of question. And if you've played any of these titles, or if you think I missed something worth noting, drop a comment, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And hey, if you want more gaming videos like this one, consider hitting subscribe so you don't miss out. Anyway, that's all from me in this video. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.